Hello again, mamas. Thank you for joining me. This video is predominantly for pregnancy, but anyone can do it as long as you've got a nice big Swiss ball. Ideally 65 centimeters is the average size. If you are slightly shorter, then you want one that is in line with your knees and your hips. And as you can see, my ball is actually a little bit deflated and is sitting below my hips. So ideally this would be a little bit higher. So come and sit on your ball, and one of the best things when you're pregnant is to try and get your pelvis moving, especially for anyone that's suffering with pelvic pain, so pain around your back, into your SI joints, or down into your groin, into your pubic bone, is to try and get a little bit more blood flow into the area, trying to wake up those intrinsic muscles that are suddenly got a huge amount of tension going through them. So sitting on it and doing some nice big circles, just trying to get a little bit of mobility into your lower back is really quite nice. Okay, and it takes a while just to get used to the balls to start with, but just sitting in front of the telly, or if you can even have one at your computer desk, then even better. And then you start to make it a little bit more exaggerated. So as we sit tall, we're then going to throw it off to one side, and you can feel that nice pull, and then same to the other side. Make sure that you're on a non-slippy surface or bare feet so that you've got a little bit more control through the feet. Now, if you feel like your thighs are really burning, it's probably because you're gripping with them, or you feel like your toes are clawing slightly. So make sure that you are comfortable on the ball and you're not at risk of falling off. Forward and back. So as you push, you're pushing the ball forward with your bottom as you curl and tilt the back. And then sitting up nice and tall. Take a nice breath in, exhale, bring the ribs down. You feel your tummy tighten as you let the ball roll underneath you. Inhale up, exhale down. Now, being realistic about what's happening in your body, your bump is getting bigger, your organs are getting pushed up underneath your ribs. So coming up nice and tall and opening through the collarbones should feel quite comfortable. It should feel like it's a stretch that your body is asking for. And make sure that you're filling those lungs. And then as you exhale, your diaphragm's doing the work and your tummy muscles are tightening. Now your tummy muscles are still there, don't worry, but they will be stretching, taking a huge amount of pressure, and everyone ends up with a separation by 37 weeks. So again, don't be worried about that, but the more tension, the more core stability that you have will put you in better stead for regaining that strength once baby is delivered. So just some nice rolls, again focusing on that breath, connecting with your tummy muscles, and then hone in on pelvic floor a little bit more. So as we exhale, feel that tension, and then see if you can pick up the pelvic floor at the same time. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Two more here. And down. So if anyone is suffering with sciatica, back pain, it's mobilizing your whole spinal cord so to prevent us from going into these slumped forward weighted positions. Okay, let's do a little bit more with our arms. Bring the knees together, feet together. Okay, lifting up through your spine. Take your hands out in front of you and roll those shoulders behind you. So again, we're trying to avoid any extra rolling through those shoulders. Pull the collarbones open and drop your shoulders away from your ears. Into your toy soldier. So this is nice and stable below. Try and not let the ball move at all. Exhale as you split the hands, opposite directions. Inhale back together. Exhale the opposite way. Inhale together. So all I want you to focus on is the movement and the breath as you squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale back together, keep the shoulders soft. Exhale as you tighten, so you shouldn't be able to see your hands behind you. Inhale together, exhale, take them apart. But really your body is now focusing on equal weight between your feet to keep you nice and stable. Your pelvis must be strong so that you're not skiting off in one direction. Again, your spine nice and tall. So getting a nice mobility through the upper back into the shoulders. Again, connecting with your breath and your core muscles. Just trying to avoid any upper back stiffness. One more each side. Let's give the arms a little rest, so you can do what you wish with them, whether it's more comfortable holding the ball across your chest or just rest them onto your legs. Feet, take them at more of that hip width position, and you're going to try and lift a leg. So take the weight over onto one foot and just peel up onto your big toe and then put it down. Shift over to the other side and peel up on big toe. Okay, so trying to take the weight over, but keeping your torso and your spine nice and long. Okay, so if you're happy here, keep with it. And again, what you're thinking about is just squeezing through the calf and putting it down. You're shifting your weight, so we're working on that transfer, that balance side to side, and believe it or not, your core will be working, even though you may not feel it. If you're happy doing that, can you then just lift the toe off the ground just for a split second and put it back down? And even that you'll feel is just slightly harder. Okay, connect with the breath again so that you're using the tension here to keep you nice and stable. And down. Good. Again, if you're happy, just keep with the marching. If you want to make it slightly harder, can we lift and extend the leg and then put it down? Good. And again, I'm breathing out through the whole exercise so that I'm keeping that tension on. And you feel that a little bit more into your legs. But collarbone is still open. Spine is nice and long. Good. But still taking a lot of concentration and lots of balance through those deeper intrinsic muscles that you can't actively control. They're working automatically. Good. One more each side. Good. Let's give the legs a little rest. We're going to come into our dumb waiter. Palms up, opening the collarbones. And as we take the hands out to the side, we're really locking in our elbows into our sides. Inhale together. Exhale. So same as the toy soldiers, as you're coming away from the body, you are connecting and creating tension, keeping the back nice and long and exaggerating that shoulder blade squeeze. Inhale. Squeeze, drawing the belly button towards your spine, bringing the ribs down so that you're not just extending and flaring your ribs too much. Squeezing those shoulder blades back. Progression from here, if you're happy, still with the elbows in and nice and open, you're then lifting away from the body. Inhale together, exhale, squeeze, maintain that shoulder blade tightness as you lengthen the arms and back in. Keep the shoulders away from your ears. Good, and you should feel it into your shoulders, really working into the upper back. And still the ribs are coming down and you're engaging nicely through those upper abs. 2 more here. Creating a little bit more instability as we lengthen away from our base of support. Okay, on the next one, let's hold it out. Shrug those shoulders back. Keep the spine nice and long. Let's rotate round to our right. As far as we can, that we are still nice and in control. Inhale to the middle. Drop the shoulders as you rotate to the other side. And to the middle. So we're trying to rotate from our upper back. Our pelvis is stable. Our knees are still facing forward. So our lower back isn't doing too much. So you might not feel as if you're getting far around here. The aim is to get that arm right behind you, keeping the hands at a nice 180 degrees, but especially difficult if you're trying to rotate round through a bump as well. One more each side. And release. Okay, give the shoulders a nice big roll. Okay, double arms overhead this time. Taking the hands out front, again, soften the shoulders. You're going to rise both arms overhead and then back to the middle. And now again, we're taking both arms, so this has become a lot less stable. What I want you to avoid is taking it too far, and again, we're starting to flare through the ribs. So we're trying to not extend the back, we're just trying to lengthen the back. So as if you're just reaching up to the ceiling. Inhale back. Now if you can, I want you to lift your heels as you go. Peel up onto your big toes. Release. Just pick a point on the floor. Keep your balance nice and steady. Okay, so stick with the double legs and double arms. If you want to make it slightly harder, we go into our Superman, but opposite arm and leg. So you're going to start lifting a leg and lifting the opposite arm to the middle, swap sides. So now we're just incorporating that marching with the single arm overhead, keeping the back nice and long so that you don't end up curling as you lift a leg. Okay, lift up through your pelvis. Again, your tummy muscles will be working hard. Keep the elbows and the shoulders nice and soft, and keep breathing through the movement. Good, lots of focus needed. Keep the feet nice and soft so you're not squashing or clawing through your toes. One more each side. And release back. Okay, again, nice big shoulder rolls here. Okay, working into our slight sit up, okay, but I won't call it a crunch, okay? It is a gentle lean back and then exhale as you lift up. So I'm actually exhaling through the whole movement, because as soon as you start to lean back, so I'm pivoting from my pelvis, trying to keep the back nice and long, you should feel your tummy muscles starting to turn on here, but then we need that strength to pull us back up, okay? Try and avoid this movement where the ball is moving and we are tucking the pelvis under. So that was our first exercise with our pelvic tilt. We don't want to do that anymore. We're not tilting, we're just leaning. Now you can do what you wish with your hands, either out front, across your chest. But that change in direction, just at that point where you're picking it up again, make sure that you are blowing out. And only go as far as you are comfortable and that you know that you are not squashing your back or creating any extra compression through your spine. Trying to keep your collarbones open. And another 3, 2, and 1. Good. Release the shoulders gently. Working a little bit harder into here. We're going to work into a rotation for your obliques. So we're going to lean back again, but not as far. But then open up one hand. Follow it round with your eyes. Release back to the middle. Slight lean. Open up the opposite hand. And up. So you're working your abdominals, but you're getting a nice twist in the spine at the same time. Knees are facing forward. Try and avoid any twist from the lower half. Good, nice and stable on the ball. Good, working a little bit harder through your abs here. Let's do one more each side. And release. Let's give the arms a little rest. The next one is the walkout. Okay, so we're just stepping with our legs until our bottom is nice and low. Lifting the bottom up into a bridge. Working our glutes. Release. And then you can walk back or you can press up again. And release. Equal weight through your feet. And down. Okay, walk back. So again, using this to come up into a seated position. Walk down again. Keep the bottom low. Keep the back flat against the wall. The ball nice and controlled. Equal weight through feet. Knees in line with second toe so that you're not bringing them together. Squeeze through your glutes and then lift the hips up. You can support your head if you wish. And then release. Exhale, tighten. And release. And release. Let's walk back. Push strong with your feet. Engage. And then lift up. Okay, important so that you're able to get out of bed comfortably. Still doing those crunchy sit-up sort of movements to get up out of a chair. Let's do one more set here. Walk it out. Keep the bottom low, make sure that you're comfortable against the ball. Heels are quite close to my bottom. Press up and release. Press up, squeezing nice and tight. Release, last one. And relax. If you can put your bottom to the floor and take the ball out quite comfortably. Okay, another lovely position. As you're watching telly, a bump becomes really quite heavy and uncomfortable, is just to lie on a ball like this. So you're on your knees or you're into your child's pose. And you can start those rolls. So again, we're getting the baby into optimal position, crawling around on hands and knees. We're trying to take the pressure off our lower back. And you're getting a nice stretch through your upper back at the same time. You can hold it out if you wish. You can do big circles or tail wags. Good, let's go off to one side. So we stretch it out and then go off to one side and the other side. Giving a nice pull down here again and back in. Okay, so depending on where you're at, this might be different positions here. So if you're comfortable leaning on it, and if bump is quite big, you can stay here and bring your knees together. If you've got space, onto your chest so that your hands are supported, or if you're earlier, you can put it down onto the bottom of your ribs. Okay, so choose the position where you're most comfortable. We'll take it up into that mid position. So most bumps should be able to get enough space here. Okay, and we're coming into our Supermans here. So again, let's find that neutral spine, drop the shoulders, take one leg away and then lift it no higher than your hip and back in. Switch over and back in. So starting to work a little bit more into your legs, into your glutes. Point your toes, lengthen the leg away, so it's giving you a nice stretch through the front of your hip flexors, as well as your abdominals. But as you feel your tummy contract, draw belly button towards your spine, give baby a gentle hug, so that you know that you're activating those deeper abdominals. Keep switching the legs over. Let's do 4 more. And then we can add the opposite arm as well. So if you're comfortable, let's lengthen a leg, Squash into the ball, use it, and then start to peel up the opposite hand and lengthen it away. Keep the elbows soft, depending on how big your ball is, I suppose. But try not to put too much pressure through the wrists. Switch over, just keep alternating opposite hand and leg. Good, making sure that the back isn't dipping too much. Keep it at a nice level, squeezing through those glutes. One more each side. And release. And if you want to keep working into your glutes a little bit, then we'll come into our side plank here. So again, we are using the ball as much as a support rather than making it an unstable surface. Getting your hand right over if you can, keeping that bottom knee bent and lengthening through that top leg. So I'm really squashing and putting my weight into the ball to try and support bump and lower back as much as you can. Keep your heel in line with your hip and shoulder, so not too far forward or far back. Draw belly button in, tighten up as you push your pelvis forward, drop in your shoulders, and let's get a nice stretch over the top, and then release and sink a little bit more into the ball. So you're lifting your hips, pushing them forwards, exhale, and release. Okay, so working a little bit more into these side glutes, again, really important to help support your back. We're going to lift the leg as we stretch, and then back down. Now, the slower you do it, the harder it is. You can play around here if you want to make it harder. You can hold this position and do little circles. Everyone loves that little burn into their side hip. Or you can just keep doing the nice stretches. Good, one more here. And release. Okay, again into this position where we are practicing lifting baby from the floor. Okay, so you're going to rise up nice and strong and then drop it down. So as we rise, again, we are lengthening our hip flexor and squeezing the glutes. Don't overcook it and end up squeezing in and compressing the lower back. Let's just bring it up so that we're in a nice tall position. And if you wish, bring the ball with you and then release. Tightening up through the abdominals, lift pelvic floor. Inhale down, exhale nice and tight. Keep the shoulders nice and soft. If you want to make it a little harder, you're just doing round the head. So you're holding this position, going around, and then drop it down. So because you're just spending that extra few seconds here, getting a little rotation into the upper back. Switch the direction and then down. And it's just keeping our upper body nice and strong as well. Switching over to the other side. Take your time and setting it up so that again you're using that ball as much as you need. Drop this shoulder, support yourself with your hand. Throw this hip forward and keep your leg nice and long. Dropping the shoulder, reaching over the top. And release. Okay, sink down. Exhale as you stretch. And release. Good. Anything is that you're just creating more space around the belly is always going to feel nice, especially if you're still working, you're sitting at a desk a lot of the time, if you're caring for a little toddler. Just creating that length in the spine, engaging with the abdominals. Let's lift the leg at the same time. Good, starting to feel the burn in there if you wish, lifting the leg, creating those little circles. Good, and the opposite way. And it is very common that new mums lose their glute strength quite quickly just because of repositioning, probably sitting a lot more as well, and bending too much from their back rather than their glutes. So avoid that flat bum and keep these strengthening exercises going. 2 more here. Good, that's us almost done. Let's just come into a nice hip flexor stretch. Okay, the ball is just here for a bit of support. Take the leg nice and open and just sink down into it. So anything again that's opening up the front of the hips, trying to avoid any or too much tension around the groin. Good, gently switch over. Good, always keeping the spine nice and long, try not to sink into it too much. Good, and back into our child's pose. So knees nice and wide, ball outstretched, sit your hips back down onto your heels, head down. Good, taking some nice deep breaths here. Just go as deep as you're comfortable. And these sort of positions as well, much recommended during labour as well. So give that one a go. Well done, see you soon.